narrow lead there, 51.1% of the vote to Miller makes his 48.9% of the vote. This is going to be a very key county. We know of the active registered voters in this district. The most are in Scott County and Johnson County. We've just been told that one suspect is still barricaded inside. And in the last 10 minutes, we're going to pan over and show you some of this armored heavy equipment that just arrived. Now, this is away. It's not on the street where the house is, so we don't know when or if officers will be using this. Yeah, Devin, Chief Tim McLeod kept repeatedly saying that this was an intentional deception, that the mom made every effort to lie to police and hide her daughter when she was, in fact, inside the house the entire time, those 9 hours she was missing. She had 1-point leads in Wisconsin and Michigan, but when you go in looking at this shift from 2020, it's all about these urban areas where Trump was able to perform a little bit better. So this is our view out to like the west, the southwest. You can kind of see the sun coming out over there, but let me have my photographer pan over here. Over here towards more the southwest is where it's starting to get a little bit darker.
But I do want to point out, we're getting quite a bit of these sensory toys. Like these are sensory stacking cups, which is something that Toys for Tots was saying they really needed this year.
There's a lot of areas along the creek where the bank is actually starting to erode away. So a new project is going to help capture runoff that comes from these neighborhoods. If Nikki Haley wants to call this a two-person race, I think when you go to New Hampshire, it is more of a two-person race where you see that she is not as far behind Trump in the polls. I'm sure a lot of us are guilty of spending a lot of times on our phones. So this year, the JDC is trying to capture that attention with a new social media team. So here's how it does impact you. The average home price in Aledo is around $150,000. So let's say your net taxable value is $50,000. If you enter that into the calculator, you'll see your bond payment will average about $27 a year. They actually walk through 6 different times to make sure it's calibrated properly. And you can see with that alert, the machine is working. Hey Shelby, yeah, after 20 hours, this standoff has come to an end. Came to an end at about 2:10 today. We're told 38-year-old Shaking Matthias peacefully surrendered to law enforcement. Now again, this all started last night at 6:45 when officers were executing a search warrant there on North Normal Street. We still don't know what that search warrant was for. Police say they cannot release that information right now. 2 officers were shot on scene and transported to the hospital last night. We're told they have been released today. They are expected to be just fine. We have learned that they were shot in the lower torso. Now, Matthias has been taken to the McDonough County Jail. He's been charged with 4 counts of aggravated battery to a police officer and 1 count of aggravated discharge of a firearm. We're told other charges are pending. Again, this was a 20-hour standoff. We did just speak earlier this afternoon to some Western Illinois University students who live right down the street and could actually hear parts of that standoff.
Yeah, so I was posted up out here all night last night and taking care of everything, and boy, cops were just going in and out like crazy. We heard them on megaphones and all that, shouting stuff, come on out with your hands up and all that stuff, so it was quite interesting. And because classes got canceled today, we pretty much spent all day here.
Again, those 2 officers who were shot are home, expected to be okay and recovering just fine. Matthias, from what we gather in our quick research, does not have an extensive criminal history by any means. We were told that by the Macomb police chief. From our quick search, he is not on the Macomb area Crime Stoppers list, and the only thing that comes up in his records in McDonough County is a criminal case from last year that has been dismissed. He is expected to be in court tomorrow for his detention hearing. Shelby? Thousands of probationary employees have already been fired in Trump's efforts to cut the federal workforce. That includes a Monmouth veteran who says he didn't deserve this.
I just feel like I've just been swept up in a dustpan and thrown out.
James Diaz started his job at the IRS office in Galesburg last April. First as a tax advisory specialist, then a few months later as a fuel compliance officer, a move he took as a promotion with a pay raise.
This right here is my termination letter.
A week ago today, Diaz was fired, receiving a letter from the Federal Office of Personnel Management.
Here's where it comes. Taking into account your performance and in light of mission needs, the agency finds that your continued employment at this agency is not in the public interest.
Diaz is a combat veteran. He served in the Army during the first Gulf War. After working as a truck driver and in manufacturing factories, he got his college degree in 2020.
I am upset, mad, and just confused at how they could treat people who put their life in the line for the country, who put themselves in harm's way, can be treated like this.
He says his OMP letter implies he was underperforming, something he calls a lie.
This was my first boss's narrative on my performance.
Diaz showed us his performance reviews.
You consistently take steps to identify and avoid work delays. You attempt to use your time in an efficient manner, whether waiting on customers, researching, or other duties assigned. You keep yourself constantly busy with productive work. Absolutely directly contradicts what I've got in that OPM letter.
He took pride working for the federal government. Now, as he's left to find a new job, all he feels is frustration.
I voted for Trump, but I still support, a lot of his policies. But I don't necessarily support the method that he's implementing them. It's like, to me, there's no thought behind it. It's just chop and roll, and then we'll fix it at the other end. A lot of us didn't deserve this.
Diaz is attending the State of the Union on Tuesday with Congressman Sorensen. For now, he plans to get his CDL to drive trucks again while he looks for another job. There are plenty of signs of the season in downtown Aledo. But there's one house you'll have to look a tiny bit closer.
Nothing. It's all on the inside. Open the door and you're amazed. Fantasyland.
Fantasyland in a garage.
Once in a while I get a little upset because I don't like to scrape the car and all that stuff.
Ain't no fun looking at a car. This stuff is fun looking at.
Hal Earl's garage is like a little town itself, complete with a beer garden, bridal dress shop, and ski resort.
Well, look at here.
Throughout the season, he invites friends and family over to see it all.
Oh, there's a lot to see here, all right.
It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's awesome.
Today, it's the residents of Brookstone Senior Living,
That was one of the earlier ones I got.
hoping that anyone who sees it feels a spark of joy, maybe a flashback to a brighter time.
Last year, I believe, was going through a bad time in their life.
Yeah.
And they come over here and spent, I think, a half hour in here and said, man, that just changed my life. That's why we do it. Joy, joy, joy. Everybody comes in here. You don't go out of here without a little joy, in your heart.
Because I had a small collection at home, and I keep looking to see if I see a replica or, same one like I had.
The collection started growing about 2 decades ago. His kids, pictured with the original village, are now adults themselves.
I haven't counted them. I tried one time and I lost count because some of the little ones, do you count that? Do you not count that?
I don't need to buy him anything. When they hear he has a big collection, they say, well, I've got houses, can I give them to you?
I just keep growing. I don't know. I can't stop.
But as the collection grows, the joy just grows right along with it.
Absolutely amazing.
Proving joy can arrive in the smallest of packages.
Put a little joy in your life. Put a little joy in your life,
In Aledo,
That's what it's all about.
Jenna Webster, WQAD.
Yes, sir.
News 8.